I'm here with Nick Kroll from the league, and got to tell you, from your appearances on the Opie with Jim Norton show,
yes,
I've been meaning to watch the league forever, and it wasn't until your last appearance where I said, all right, you know what? It's on Netflix. I'm going to catch up, and then I'm going to watch the FXX network for it, and I got hooked. I started binge watching, and then I found out FXX does not have on demand.
Really?
With Verizon Fios.
Oh.
So I had to go through Means Online to find season 6. And
is that how you're going to say Means Online?
Yeah, Means Online.
Yeah.
I got to say, it's just each season just keeps getting better and better.
Thank you.
Season 6, you're in Korea just because they wanted to send you, and you're trying to follow along online, and everything is either you're right on point or you're a few seconds behind, which is a perfect way to portray it. And you keep getting yelled at by a guy who you either think is the janitor or your boss.
Right.
How are you enjoying Korea?
Korea was a great experience for Ruxin. He really learned. He's a real international, a real bon vivant traveler of the world. It was really fun. It's like it's always then when we're able to do things like that, and if it works, it's like it does touch on stuff that happens in real life, which is now people are on FaceTime, people are Skyping, and like it does. You're like, shit, I want to be a part of this, and yet it's sort of like, you can't really make it happen effectively.
Another great episode from this season was with your son playing Little League, and accidentally, the kid stole a bottle of testosterone gel, and you decided that you needed to keep juicing your kid.
Yes, that is from the Rafael Palmeiro archive. That kid has now been on the show. Adam's been on the show for the last, I think this is his 3rd season. He's a funny kid. Was able to play and understood the joke, and like originally when his voice is deep, we were like, oh well, we'll do it and then they'll fix it in post. But he actually was able to like make a convincing like deep voice for like a 7-year-old. It was slightly disturbing, but it was great.
I saw you on Jimmy Fallon, and you told the story about Bill Murray, which is every comic's dream and nightmare at the same time.
That's true. It really was my dream and nightmare to meet your idol, ask him to watch you perform. He decides to come down, and then bombing. It was the worst experience of my life, but it and I really don't know what lesson I learned from it. Truly, because I'm like, the lesson is don't take chances.
Don't meet your heroes.
Yeah, don't meet your heroes. It's true though, by the way. I mean, I've been able to meet a lot of my heroes at this point, and it is an amazing part of comedy that, because also luckily comedians for the most part are pretty nice guys and women, and they're happy to sort of chat, and if they sort of have some idea that you're doing a similar thing, it's a very collaborative community. Comedy is inherently a pretty collaborative world, and so you get to meet people who you've looked up to, and oftentimes they don't disappoint. Unfortunately, in the case of me and Bill Murray, I was the one who was disappointing.
The League Season 6 is on FXX right now. Do we have word of a Season 7? Maybe a movie, something?
We're definitely doing an action movie. I can tell you that. Ruxin's in Korea. It's the follow-up to Seth Rogen and James Franco's movie, The Interview. Ruxin goes over to defend them, and then gets caught up in a sex trade. He gets sold into sex slavery to a very obese, elderly North Korean woman, and then it becomes Taken.
Will we see more of the Nick Kroll show?
Yes, Kroll show's coming back in January on Comedy Central. I don't have a specific date yet, but it's season 3, and it's going to be pretty bananas. It gets bigger and badder and crazier.
I love young Billy Joel.
Thank you. We've got a more Larry Bird coming this season, and Billy.
Have you heard from Billy or Larry about these?
No, they don't. Neither of those guys seem like they would be interested in sketch comedy, to be honest. Although I bet Billy Joel is a comedy fan. I don't know if he's seen it. I don't know, but it's so fun to do, and it's so random to choose those guys.
Nick Kroll, thank you very much. The League Season 6 on FXX right now. I'm here with Stephen and Paul from the League, and guys, this is a very exciting day. I've only recently become a super fan of the show. Nick was on our show not too long ago. I did the binge watching on Netflix, and now I'm on season 6 on FXX, and this show is just insane.
Yeah, we every year it gets almost worse and worse with the behavior that we We display, yeah. I mean, look, it's only. I don't know how people still continue to support us. I really don't.
Is the whole process just to make it so cringing and so unbelievable that you're just trying to say, look, people have to leave at some point?
I mean, stuff that we've done on the show, we're like, is this going to play? I don't really know, and we'll see. We'll find out.
We were like really nervous about the episode where Katie pretends to have cancer. Like, oh, we're going to take a hit on this. And most of the comments I read, and I feel like this is our fans are turning now. They're like, you didn't go far enough. Like our fans don't. We're bastardizing our fans. We're making them worse people.
Yeah.
So so we can take credit in that.
And when we actually get to the Ray Rice thing, that's going to be our moment where people are like, no, we're done with this show.
I gotta say, I wish the Teflondre thing ran a little bit longer.
I know everyone says that. I did too. I feel like this season, though, ultimately, Andre has been a little less of a punching bag and kind of back to more like second season Andre, where it's less cruel. I mean, he was literally just getting pounded nonstop by these guys. And it's like, why hasn't he killed himself or left this group of friends? So I think that they needed to like kind of switch it up this year. And so I think Tough Andre started it on a good track, and now we're just.
And Kevin took the lion's share this year of the abuse because I won the Sacco last year, I'm the worst, and now I'm living with the person, Katie, who won the Shiva, and now it's affecting my relationship in the bedroom and low testosterone. So yeah, this was a tough uphill battle for Kevin this year. But I think the episode that we screened tonight sort of gives Kevin a pivot and kind of brings out his inner, I guess Rafi would call his inner Brian. So there's some strength shown.
I love the beginning of the season this year where you're having a nightmare.
We faked the combine and had a couple first-round picks come in, and that was awesome. That was just a day for me to get like fantasy camp and run around with like professional athletes. I ran the 40 with Mike Evans, and at one point I was like, well, let me just see what I can do. And I turned on my jets a bit, and I felt him go past me. Like he saw what I was doing, I felt him. I didn't see him, I just felt like a swoosh that just went right past me.
I love you running down the line. You're supposed to turn catch. You're getting pelted until it hits you right in the head and you're knocked out. Then they come over and start throwing it at your groin while you're laying on the ground.
They never, those machines just keep going. So yeah, the blasted me in the taint. It was just, it was horrible.
You guys work really well. It really shows that you're good friends. You've worked on other projects outside of the league, and you also have your own individual projects. You do stand-up. You have a special out right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a special called Man-Child that's out now, and I'm going to go on tour in November with a new hour that I think I'm going to call the Strawberry Blonde Ambition Tour, and then hopefully film it for another hour special.
And Paul has a very successful podcast who, I love the podcast, but I don't think you're going to find a bigger fan of your podcast than my buddy Brian here. Brian, do you want to ask him anything about it?
No, I just want to say thank you for having such an awesome podcast.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I was telling Nick that it's hard to find on certain cable systems, because FXX is kind of new, the on-demand feature. So you have to go through Fox Now and some other things, and if your cable company doesn't have it, you're kind of screwed if you missed an episode or didn't DVR it this season.
You sound like my dad. My dad says the same thing. He's like, I can't even find this thing. I'm like,
well, here's the thing. Now that iTunes has the FX app, and basically if you have iTunes, you'll never miss it. Yeah. And it's kind of reasonably priced. It's like only $2, but the FX app is now going a little bit wider. It's definitely on Xbox,
it's on Apple TV.
And it's on Apple TV. So that is good. I think that will help.
What can you tell us about what we're going to expect for the rest of this season of the league?
We're going to have great guest stars, and Marshawn Lynch is going to be on the show. We get to find out who wins the Shiva, which I still honestly don't even know who wins the Shiva. So the playoffs are huge, implications, and
return of some characters from the past coming back, and the opening of Andre's wine bar. Yep. A lot of things are going to be happening, and then obviously we're going to find out who's going to win the beach house. I mean, that's the big question.
Plug your podcast and then plug your special.
You can listen to How Did This Get Made every week. Just go to How Did This Get Made, or on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
And SteveRannazzisi.com for tour dates. So check out SteveRannazzisi.com for tour and tickets.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.